Okay, algebra, we're going to take a look at how to multiply polynomials. Okay, so we have already learned part of this. Okay, so this is a review. Distributing means to multiply into the parentheses. So let's just review that because that's a skill we're going to be using here, but even bigger. Okay, so I'm going to distribute 2x cubed to each of these terms. 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Okay, so I'm going to end up with 4 terms. 2 times 1 is 2. X cubed times x cubed makes a total of x to the 6th power. Okay, positive 2 times positive 3 is positive 6 or plus 6. 3 x's times 2 more x's make a total of 5 x's. 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. And then the power on x would be the 4th. And finally, 2 times 5 is plus 10. And there would be x cubed. It's already in descending order. 6, 5, 4, 3. None of them are alike. I can't combine them. I'm done. Okay, so that's distributing, and that's a skill you need to have. Okay, now we're going to take a look at how do I distribute 2 times. Okay, because this first binomial here is getting multiplied by the second binomial. So what am I going to distribute? Am I going to distribute the 4 into these two things? Or am I going to distribute the 3x into both of those things? And the answer is both. Okay, we need to distribute 3x, okay, and the 4. Okay, I'm going to use a green pen and distribute 3x. 3x is going to get multiplied by the first term, okay, and the second term. So 3 times 2 is 6x squared. 3 times negative 7 is negative 21x. Okay, now just to organize things, I'm going to switch colors. I'm going to switch to a red pen so that I can distribute the positive 4 because now it's his turn. Positive 4 times positive 2 is positive 8x. Positive 4 times negative 7 is negative 28. And then you look, and these two middles right here can combine. So I'm going to combine the like term. 6x squared stays alone. I've got negative 21 plus 8, so that's going to be negative 13x minus 28. Okay, and so when you multiply two binomials like that, you have to distribute two things. Okay, now I'm going to show you just a new way to organize your work just to make it a little bit easier. Okay, and this comes in handy, especially when the problems get a little bit bigger. Okay, so it's the same problem, but here's a good way to do it. Okay, I'm going to distribute 3x to both of these terms again. 3 times 2 is 6x squared. And 3x times negative 7 is negative 21x. Okay, so far everything's looking the same. Okay, now here comes the difference. Okay, I'm going to distribute the 4 times the 2x, and that's going to make 8x. And so I'm going to line it up. I'm not going to put 8x's here because this is like the x squared column. I'm going to put 8x here in the x column. So here's the column for all the squareds, and then the x to the firsts, and then here's the numbers. 4 times negative 7 is negative 28. There was no constant for my first set of distributing, okay, so he's the only one in that column. Now, when you add up your columns, we've got 6x squared. Let's combine our x's. Negative 21 plus a positive 8 is negative 13x minus 28. Okay, so it's just a nice way of organizing, and this is going to come in handy when the problem gets a little larger. Everything will be sorted out, and combining the like terms becomes a lot easier. Okay, let me show you another one. We're going to distribute 2 times. So first we'll distribute 2x to both of the terms. So 2 times 3 is 6. X times x is x squared. A positive times a positive is positive 8x. Okay, and he's done. Now whose turn is it to get distributed? Okay, now it's the -5's turn. Sometimes I put the first two arches here, and then I'll use -5. I'll put his little arches, just demonstrate it here. You don't have to draw these lines. I'm just showing you what I'm doing in my mind so you can follow along. Some people do this on the work to help keep them organized. Negative times positive is -15x. So I'm going to put it in the x column. -5 times +4 is -20. Okay, and now when I add these together, there's 6x squared from that column. It looks like these can be combined to make -7x minus 20. Okay, adding like terms gets a lot easier when they're already lined up together. Okay, so this is a way of organizing our work, which is great, especially when there's lots of terms. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, number 1 is very similar to what we just did, so it's going to be a regular type problem. Get zoomed in a little bit maybe. Okay, so the first thing I'll distribute is the x. So x, you need to get distributed to these two terms. X times 3x is 3x squared. And x times 2 is plus 2x. Okay, x, you're all done. Okay, so I'm going to switch pens because now it's -4. His turn to get distributed. Okay, don't forget to distribute the -4. -4 times +3 is -12x. I'll put it in the x column. -4 times +2 is -8. Put it in the constant column. And then when we add our like terms, 3x squared, -12 plus 2 is -10x minus 8. It's already in descending order. Okay, and all the terms that need to get added are. Okay, let's take a look at number 2. I need to distribute 3 things into this binomial. Okay, the process is the same. We'll do it one at a time. I'm going to take a squared and I'm going to distribute it to both of these terms. A squared times 2 is 2, and that's going to make a cubed. Okay, so we have a cubed column here. A squared times 3 is +3a squared. Okay, I'm going to switch pens to a different color, and now I'm going to distribute the +3a. So a positive times a positive is 6, and that's going to be a squared. So I'm going to put it in the squared column. Squareds under squareds, not under cubics. A +3 times a +3 is 9a, so plus 9a. So there's the a column. And I'm going to switch pens one more time, okay, because those two guys are done. And now I just need to distribute the -4. -4 times +2 is -8a. Let's put it under the other a's. -4 times +3 is -12. Okay, so you see how when you have lots of terms, they're already lined up. So how many a cubes do we have? 2a cubed. How many squareds? 3 plus 6 is +9a squareds. I have 9a's minus 8a, so that's plus 1a, or just plus a, and the constant is -12. So it's already in descending order, and the like terms have already been added. Okay, let's take a look at number 3. The best way to do number 3, okay, I'm going to put a little note here. Okay, this means write it out 2 times. So when you have a squared, it means 2x minus 3 times 2x minus 3. Okay, that's the secret there. Let's put a star there. If it says squared, you write it twice. If it said cubed, you would write it out 3 times. Okay, but now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go ahead and distribute 2 things. So let's start with the 2x. that has to get distributed to both of the terms. So 2 times 2 is 4x squared. 2 times 3 is negative 6x. Okay, 2x, you're done. Thank you. And now it's time for negative 3. Okay, it's time for him to get distributed. Negative 3 times positive 2 is negative 6x. Oh, look at that. Negative 6x will go right under negative 6x. And a negative times a negative makes positive 9. Okay, sometimes when we're doing these 3's and 2's and 3's and 3's, the numbers get mixed up a little bit. Let's go ahead and add our like terms. So we've got 4x squared, negative, and that's negative 12x plus 9. There you go. Okay. All right, number 4. What happens when you have t plus 5 and t minus 5? Sometimes something interesting happens. Okay, so we'll distribute a t. Give him a t and distribute a t. A t times a t makes t squared. And a t times a minus 5 is minus 5t. Do you like my cursive t's? Some people don't. Now I'll distribute a positive 5. So 5 times t, that's plus 5t. Plus 5 times minus 5 is negative 25. So this problem looked almost the same, except he had a plus sign in the middle and he had a minus sign. And when that happens, something interesting here happens. So we still have t squared, but our minus 5t and our plus 5t cancel out, so we don't have any t terms. We only have the minus 25. And so our answer is not a trinomial, but a binomial. Because the middle's canceled out. Okay, this answer over here is a trinomial. All right, that's kind of interesting. What do you think is going to happen here with number 5? Because they almost are the identical binomials. They both have 3x, they both have a y, except look at that. Do you think the middle term is going to cancel out? Let's go see. So the first thing we'll do is we'll distribute 3x to both of those terms. So 3 times 3 is 9. X times x is x squared. Okay, 3 times negative is negative 3. And then we have x times y. Okay, just go careful. Letters, numbers. Then I'll distribute a positive y. Positive times a positive is positive 3xy. Positive 3xy. I'll put xy's under xy's. And then a positive times a negative is negative y squared. Okay, the like terms are already stacked up. We have 9x squared, positive 3xy, and negative 3x. So those just totally cancel out. Minus y squared. Look at that. We have a binomial again. A binomial. Okay, in fact, he's got a special name. This is a perfect square. And this is a perfect square because this is 3 times 3. This is x times x, and this is y times y. All of these numbers are perfect squares. We call this a difference. Difference because that's a minus sign of perfect squares. Perfect squares. That means it's a square number. 9 is a perfect square because it's 3 times 3. 16 is a perfect square because it's 4 times 4. Okay, 20 is not a perfect square. Okay, and the last one, number 6, I am going to put a star here, okay, because there's a couple of things. Okay, first of all, I see a squared. Okay, so we have to write it out twice. Write it out twice. That's what square means. So the problem is 2. 3x plus 4 times 3x plus 4. Okay, now I see what's happening. Okay, we've got to distribute. We have to double distribute, and we also have this 2. Okay, but I'm going to put a little note. Save this for later. After I get my answer, I'll just distribute a 2 into everybody. That's the easiest way to do it. Okay, so what we have here are like big brackets. I'm going to do all my work, and we're just going to write this 2. So you have to write it, but we're not going to distribute it just yet. We're going to save it for later. Okay, so let's just pretend like it's not even there. I'll take care of him later, but I have to write it. I'm going to distribute 3x to both of the terms. Do you think the middles are going to cancel? No, because it's not a plus and a minus. Okay, let's be careful here. 3 times 3 is 9x squared. And 3x times 4 is plus 12x. Okay, now what do we have? Now I have to distribute the positive 4. 4 times 3 is positive 12x. And a positive times a positive is positive 16. Okay, are we ready for that 2? Not yet, not quite. Let's go ahead and clean up this trinomial here. Okay, so I have a 2, and I'm going to get this all added together. So I've got 9x squared plus 24x plus 16. Okay, so I've done the double distributing. Now, make sure you wrote that 2 every time. I needed to bring him along for the ride, but now it's his job to go ahead and get distributed in. Okay, now each of my terms need to get multiplied by 2. So the final answer is 18x squared plus 48x plus 32. Final answer. Okay, so we are learning how to do lots of distributing. Okay, all right. Thank you for watching. I'll see you tomorrow.